Well, I get to talk, and I don't have a 5-minute limit. That's great. So I had a nice little speech, 5 minutes. It's actually about 2.5. I will still do it. But I first must call out a couple of things. One is all of the people who signed up on the hearing examiner sign-up sheet are interested parties. Please do make sure you call upon all of them. To not do so would be indicative of a bias. Secondly, if we're talking about people who should recuse themselves, we have a bias on your dais right now. Councilmember Sarah Arndt has carried out a more egregious gift acceptance. It came to light today through some independent researchers who've reached out to me. Maybe $300 plus received last year, I don't know the exact date, from a company to attend a gala. And obviously no investigation has occurred yet, but she would be biased for any potential vote tonight, given that the ruling here will affect her. So I leave that on your decision, although I do think it probably warrants a proper judicial review. With that said, I'm going to do my little speech. I'll try to keep it light because it was intended to be light and airy, and we'll go forward. I'm Alex Campbell. I live within the city limits. Thanks to our state's sunshine laws, I finally did receive a copy of this recording. The recording of the hearing examiner session, 3 hours plus. It was delivered to me on October 21st. I asked for it 3 weeks after the hearing and was told I had to wait a whole nother month. What's very fascinating is at the end of the hearing, the lawyer here also asked for that very same recording and was told he'd have it within a week. So, looks a little bad there. Okay, to my speech. Listening to the hearing, I was reminded of a very common, kind of often said as a joke, saying about lawyers. When the law is on your side, pound the law. When your facts are on your side, pound the facts. When you don't have the law and you don't have the facts, you pound the table. Overall, people should know that that this hearing was not an investigation. 3 hours of the defense attorney speaking and spinning and delivering kind of often twisted excuses that went back and forth. There was no substantive additional questioning by the hearing examiner. And I'm happy, I have posted online a transcript of the hearing as well as the original public records request, so anyone else can read it. The hearing examiner also asked for no additional documents. He is empowered to ask and subpoena any record. He didn't do anything. He accepted every exhibit as it was given. He listened to every speech. He asked a few follow-ups that repeated questions that the defense attorney had already asked. And he started the hearing specifically calling out that throughout that day, he was not going to act as a prosecutor. So for the law and order of aficionados and fans, there was no one in the room representing the people. It's not an investigation. So let's discuss the law, the underlying law that's important here. Washington State has two completely separate laws related to public officials taking gifts. One is for the state level officials, only the state level officials. And it includes a $50 carve out as well as other things like you can go to a seminar. The other is for municipal officials, as in city officials. Woodinville only references the city officials one. And quite simply, it says no gifts, as Mr. Ganson said. It says no special privileges, zero. There's no dollar value associated. That makes it very important because the Olympia chose to have two separate laws. You can't say, oh, well, they really just meant the one. Nope, they meant two for a reason. And I thought about this and I came to a conclusion. You seven, when there are seven, are, in fact, more important to people's lives in Woodinville. Each and every one of you, if you're bought off, is 1/7 of all the power in the organization. Whereas Olympia has 147 elected officials in the legislature. So buying one off is really not even 1% of the power. That's why we need a really strict ethics on this hearing. That's why we need to have a very strong belief in the system. And unfortunately, this is not the first incident. Anyone who does want to go look at it can find that almost everyone up there has been taking part in serial meetings, pre-arranging your votes, and you organized a secret arrangement to get yourself a bunch of salary commissioners to give you a 67% raise this year. So there's a lot of wrong stuff here. And, you know, people will talk bad about me, that's fine, but I'm an Eagle Scout. And when I say honesty matters, it does. So that's the law. Let's talk the facts. The facts in that saying, you know, did they pound the facts? Did anyone talk about the facts? Not really. There were two undisputed points in the hearing, in the documents, everything. Mike Millman accepted a gift. Absolutely. And not only did he say so in his testimony, in the emails, but in the PDC report where he filed a $150 gift. The hearing examiner never noticed that because he never looked for the publicly available reports on the Public Disclosure Commission website. Again, a failure of the investigation. The second special privilege, or second fact, he accepted a special privilege. He accepted it, and it was offered to him because he's an elected official. So he used his elected official status. Whether or not he reached out and said, hey, I'm the mayor, he only received the invitation because he was elected official. Kara Connor of Chateau Saint-Michel specifically admitted this in her emails, specifically admitted this in the hearing. They send this invitation to elected officials. Well, why do they do that? They don't like losing money. They're giving away a special privilege for a reason, and it is a special privilege. Not everyone in the general public gets this invite. Most people pay for it. And through that special privilege, Mike Millman was able to buy sold-out concert tickets at face value. If someone's going to say that that's not a privilege, call your nearest Taylor Swift fan. Ask about face value tickets to a concert. So that's it. The law's language is clear. A fifth grader could understand this language. The facts are clear, black and white, and other government officials have said so. So what went on in that 3-hour meeting? Well, they spent a lot of time talking about the dollar amounts. Oh, was it $20? Was it $30? Was it $75? Zero is the limit, so it doesn't matter. They spent a lot of time talking about how many minutes were in the tent of the reception. And this reception, by the way, is the exact same reception that most people pay $75 to get into. But Kara Connor invented a new level and said, well, this is a different reception. Same tent, same offerings. And it doesn't matter if you're in there for 1 minute or zero. You were given the permission to go into it. That's a gift. Finally, there was a lot of talk about, oh, we didn't eat wine. We didn't drink wine, we didn't eat food. Again, doesn't matter, you had the option. But oddly enough, for all the claims I paid for wine and all the showing receipts for paying face value on those tickets, they never showed a receipt for the wine. And Mike Millman, in his letter to the Woodinville Weekly on October 13th, says he stood in line to get wine, not buy it, with Mark Mullet. Mark Mullet obviously was a state official and was probably in the $75 or maybe $50 reception. So was Mark Mullet buying the wine too? Or was he picking up free wine? There's a whole lot of holes here that a prosecutor would have punched a hole in. So the laws weren't on his side. The facts weren't on his side. And so that's why we heard a lot of pounding of the table today. I kept a rough count, and I think I missed a few. My name's been used 13 times, maybe it's 14. The hearing examiner very specifically in his report says it doesn't matter who made the complaint. The facts are the facts, and the facts are to be reviewed based on the actual letter of the law. So, you know, throwing me under the bus is your choice, but that's not an effective tactic. It just shows the weakness of the argument. So, I know you've already all made up your mind. Another prearranged vote. We certainly know Sarah Arndt is biased. Yeah, I just please be honest with the public. Do not go and tell us there wasn't a gift. Do not go and tell us there wasn't a special privilege. That's just, you know, that's just insulting people's intelligence. And, you know, in Woodinville, we are all equal. It's a special place. It's actually something that's bugged me a little bit. Someone did not get to go to the concert because he took the tickets. And we will never know who that was, but someone didn't get to. And that's not fair.